What's up, everybody? Hope you're all having a good weekend. It's Movie Guy 808, back with you again. Um, Today, going to go over some of my favorite films from the 21st century thus far. That's, of course, films that have come out since the year 2000. So, of course, this is going to be somewhat limited, not only because I haven't obviously seen all the films that have come out in the last 13 years, but also it's limited because it's limited to the ones that I own. So I can obviously only show what I have, so it's limited in that way as well. But apart from that, just going to go over some of my favorite films of the 21st century thus far. One that actually came out in 2000, in the year 2000, as they say, that got a lot of attention at the time. Hasn't been talked about a whole lot since, but I really enjoyed. That was Steven Soderbergh's Traffic. Have, of course, the single disc release here as well as the Criterion Collection double disc release. A great film. Obviously, I already said Steven Soderbergh directed it. Did win 4 Academy Awards in 2000 when it came out, including Best Director and Best Supporting Actor, Benicio del Toro. I just really love the way this film was put together and all the characters that were part of it, and just the multiple directions it was going in, and some great acting as well to boot, as well as some great dialogue. So I really enjoyed Traffic, one of my favorite films of the 2000, early 2000s. Now just going to run through some kind of somewhat typical ones. A lot of these are well known, but just great films that I really enjoyed from the past 13 years or so. It's Christopher Nolan's Inception. Everybody knows about that. Some groundbreaking stuff there. Leonardo DiCaprio in a pretty cool role. Some great concepts in this film. V for Vendetta with Natalie Portman and Hugo Weaving. The Wachowski brothers, is that how you say it? I believe so. Film. This was really cool. I really enjoyed this as well. One that anyone who knows me knows I've talked a lot about, but always have to show it in any favorites video. It's Old Boy, the South Korean film about a man that's in prison for 15 years and finally gets released and wreaks his vengeance. If anyone has not seen that movie, definitely check it out. Next is The Fountain, Darren Aronofsky, right here with Hugh Jackman and Rachel Weisz. A complicated film, nonetheless. You can see how much effort went into it, and just the amount of love that went into this movie. I really enjoyed it. I thought the visuals were incredible. Hugh Jackman was actually surprisingly good in this movie. He delivers very good performances as multiple different characters throughout time. But really liked how this one was put together. Aronofsky remains one of my favorite directors. French film, A Prophet. It's kind of a French prison film, or a French gangster film. Very interestingly done. There's some spectacular scenes in this film, and it's kind of about this gentleman who is kind of French but also Muslim, and so he goes into this French prison, and he kind of is in between the two gangs. There's obviously a native French gang, and there's a Muslim gang, and he kind of plays two sides against each other. And very interesting story. If you haven't seen that, definitely check out A Prophet. Coen Brothers film right here, No Country for Old Men. Javier Bardem was absolutely incredible in this movie. He was terrifying. I mean, he just took the role and ran with it. Josh Brolin was also very good in this film. I mean, the Coen Brothers never disappoint. I mean, every film they make is pretty much amazing, and this is no exception. No Country for Old Men. It's another Aronofsky film. I just showed The Fountain. He may be just as well known for this film, Requiem for a Dream, with Jared Leto, Jennifer Connelly. Which Wayans brother is that? Marlon Wayans. Ellen Bernstein, of course, in this as well. Incredible music, incredible photography, and absolutely terrifying story about the dangers of habitual drug use. Great film there. Okay, David Fincher film here, Zodiac. Jake Gyllenhaal, Mark Ruffalo, Robert Downey Jr. I really enjoyed this film. One of the best kind of thriller serial killer films. I would put this up there with Seven, and Silence of the Lambs, of course, is kind of the king of that genre, but these are right up there with it, in my opinion. I really enjoyed Zodiac. Christopher Nolan, once again. We're at the Prestige, and a great film with two great performances. Hugh Jackman once again, and Christian Bale, about competing magicians. And if you haven't seen The Prestige, definitely check that out. Great science fiction movie here. That's District 9. This director, Neil Blomkamp, is actually his new film Elysium is coming out in the next little while. I'm actually really looking forward to seeing that. That looks interesting, and I really enjoyed this film. There are some great concepts in this film, really original, and great visually as well. I mean, just all around. This film was engrossing, interesting. Definitely did not lag, and was an adult sci-fi film. I mean, it didn't really hold your hand. I mean, there was a relatively complicated story and some true violence, so a little bit of gore in there. So this was definitely an adult sci-fi film, which you don't see enough anymore. Sci-fi film made for adults. Okay. The Master by Paul Thomas Anderson. In my opinion, this movie did not get nearly enough attention when it came out. This movie, I felt, was just so far and above anything else I'd seen recently. The fact that it was not nominated for Best Picture really surprised me. I felt like it was much more deserving than a lot of the other films that were nominated. But then again, I didn't really think that much of Argo, so that might give you kind of an idea of where I stand on that issue. But the Academy obviously has its own standards and will do what it wants. But I do not think The Master got nearly enough attention. This movie is absolutely amazing. The performances alone by those three main characters, especially Joaquin Phoenix, is worth seeing the movie for. That was amazing. Gonna finish it up here with the Blu-rays, with Children of Men, another film that I didn't think that got enough attention. Clive Owen in the starring role here, about a futuristic society where no woman has gotten pregnant for a very long time, so there are no young people in this world, and apparently one woman all of a sudden gets pregnant, and Clive Owen kind of works for the Resistance, this underground movement, to try to protect the woman and shield her from the government, which is highly oppressive. Some amazing photography in this movie. I saw it recently again, and I was just blown away. I'd forgotten how amazing this film was. It does not get nearly enough attention. Children of Men. And then I'm a big comedy guy too. I love a good comedy, so I'm just going to quickly run through some of my favorite comedies that have come out in the past, 13 years or so, since 2000. Just going to run through these real quick. Hamlet 2. I loved this movie. I fell in love with Steve Coogan after seeing this movie. He is hilarious, and I want to see much more stuff with him in it. Just the fact that there's a sequel to Hamlet is just one of the funniest concepts I've heard in a long time. And so well done. Steve Coogan is so funny in this movie. MacGruber. One of the very few Saturday Night Live film adaptations that actually worked. This movie was really funny. And I think Will Forte had a lot to do with that. Just the way he brought the character to the screen and just, really went all out with it and didn't care didn't care if he was looking silly or, looking stupid. Just went with the character and went for it. And really paid off. This was a really funny movie. Tropic Thunder. That's all you really need to see is right on top there. Stiller, Black, Downey Jr. This movie is absolutely hilarious. I loved this movie. This movie was too funny. A lot of people were offended by it. Not the smallest reason for which was the fact that Robert Downey Jr. plays a black man in this movie. But I didn't think he was distasteful or offensive. I thought he did a really good job with it, and I found it to be very funny. Tropic Thunder, see that. Danny McBride in Your Highness with James Franco and Natalie Portman. This was pretty funny. I mean, it's silly, it's stupid, but, funny. A couple honorable mentions here. Got Super Troopers.